Yo, ho, ho, ladies and gentlemen. I need to switch up the mic fast. Mic working. Beautiful, beautiful. It's 2 days in a row. It's 2 days in a row. I didn't have my ducks in a row as far as all of the equipment is concerned. I didn't want you guys hearing the static audio coming from exclusively my laptop this morning. I sincerely hope everybody is having a wonderful morning. Wednesday, July 19th, 11 a.m. EST, Don Mafia Live. You know that I do my morning show Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. EST. And I also do this thing called Bills Mafia Happy Hour, which typically goes 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock from now on. Okay, so I'm excited about that show. I'm excited about this show. Sincerely hope everybody is doing well. Don Mafia Live is actually brought to you by Sleeper. Now, Sleeper is known for a fantasy football sort of community. It's normally where I have all of my fantasy football leagues in from year to year, but they did end up just dropping their first actual player parlay feature, and it's absolutely awesome, especially when football season is coming around. Like, they're going to have a bunch of really cool parlay options. There's anytime touchdowns. And say, for example, that you have like a 6-man parlay, 3 or 4, you have an opportunity of seeing some actual crazy ass returns. So do me a favor, check that out. I do have the link directly pinned to the live chat. And then from then on out, that's going to directly support myself. And it's also going to match your initial deposit all the way up to 100%. Just make sure that you do use the code Don Mafia. It should automatically populate the second that you do. So thank you so much for that. Sleeper is an awesome app. Thank you, Mike Green. I'm still trying to learn. And I have to realize that my camera is mirrored right now. So for the past couple of weeks, I've been pointing in this direction, but when I watch the replay, I'm pointing to nowhere. But now I know. Download Sleeper. What's going on, everybody? That's right. 5 Buffalo Bills players that we believe will be fighting for their jobs at training camp. This morning when I was trying to figure out a topic, I was scrolling through some recent articles. I found an article from Buffalo Down. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with them, but that's exactly what they titled theirs, and they listed 5 players that they think are going to be fighting for their jobs. It's training camp, right? I mean, rookies ended up showing up yesterday along with some recent free agent acquisitions. So there's going to be some camp battles. There's 1,000% going to be some camp battles. So I figured that we would go through this article together. We would figure out what their thought process was, whether or not that we agreed with it. And then afterwards, I'll open up the show to some callers for whoever wants to come on in and give me their take. And we'll just go from there. I hope everyone is doing very well on this Wednesday morning. Just think about it, guys. We are literally a week away from the very first practice at St. John Fisher. I know a lot of people are super excited about it. I certainly am. That's for sure. I was scrolling through Twitter and I saw the most July football news-esque thing I've ever seen in my entire life, right? They showed a picture of Russell Wilson and they said, "This man is in the best shape of his career." He's in the best shape of his career. I feel like that, you can copy and paste that tweet from literally any social media team, from every single NFL team, and you would see that year after year after year. Just insert a new player into that blank spot. I don't think that I've seen peak July football content until I see this video interview from a defensive lineman, and he's comparing his 5th-round quarterback to Tom Brady or something like that, like some guy they just drafted. So who knows? Is what it is. We are a week away. Man. Listen, bring on the clips. Man. I mean, honestly, I was sitting there just hoping that we could see, some sort of interview from a coach or something like that, or like Dalton Kincaid, Osiris Torrance. Hell, give me an interview from Nick Broker, okay? Tell me how you're feeling about being a rookie over at camp early. What are you learning? We want to know. I'm sure you probably have to keep it at least somewhat confidential, right? I mean, it is training camp. I'm happy that the Bills decided not to opt in for joint practices. I've never really understood that. I know that they keep teams or they practice with teams that they aren't facing that year at all. Of course, unless they both meet in the Super Bowl. But in fact, I'm not even sure if that's ever happened in the history. if a team that faced each other in the Super Bowl had a joint practice during preseason. I wonder if that was the case. Keith Stewart. Let's go. Buffalo. Absolutely. Scott F. I am tired of not getting notified, so I'm just going to leave it here for 16 minutes until Dan the Man starts. And yes, I have all the notification bells on. YouTube is messing with me. That's really interesting. If anybody is experiencing the same thing, sound off in the comments. Do y'all get notified when I go live, or is this just something that I've ingrained in you, that I'm normally live at 11 a.m. EST? I love that. Buffalo Dave, what's up, man? Hope all is well. Mark, what's going on? Good morning, Dan. Great choice of topic. I'm looking forward to sharing my thoughts with you and the folks listening. Me as well. Me as well, Mark. I definitely love your feedback on this. And I think that there's a couple of names that I agree with. This is sort of it's like an open topic. I wouldn't say that all 5 of these players aren't going to make the team or all 5 are going to make the team. It's certainly up for debate. It's something that's reasonable to believe. And we're going to hop into this article real fast, knock it out, see what we have to do. Nabil, what's up? What's up? Go Bills. Absolutely, man. Mike Green, don't forget to smash that like button on your way in to help out your boy Dan. Absolutely, guys. Listen. Smashing that like button. It's free. It takes less than a second, and then it helps me out tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. So I would very much appreciate it. Best way to support this channel is simply just by tuning in. Honestly, I always see a bunch of very familiar names, very familiar faces in the show, and I am just so thankful that you guys enjoy spending your early afternoon to morning with me as we just sort of talk a little bit about football, man. It's gonna be wild. Spears Bills Talks coming in saying, I am ready for football. You and me both, brother. You and me both. Cameron, what's up? What's up, man? What's up, bro? It's been a long time. Hope all is well. Keith rolling in saying, what's up, Dan the Man? Hope you're having a great morning as always. Listen, man, I'm doing good. I'm doing really good, man. I've sipping my coffee. I did some laundry this morning. Made some breakfast. Went to the gym this morning, which is good too. Having a bad hair day, but is what it is. Is what it is. It's part of my brand, I would say. Yo, can we see some Kincaid highlights? I asked you yesterday, and you said you'd do it in your next stream. Dude, King Dante is holding me accountable right now. Dante, listen, my friend, this is what we're going to do, okay? Bills Mafia Happy Hour, tune on in, and I will dedicate 5 minutes to showing you some Dalton Kincaid highlights. Because trust me, I have watched several of them. I get more and more excited each and every single time that I do. I'll show you some of them. I'll show you some of them, man. Now, my fear is that you're about to leave that stream absolutely pumped, your adrenaline's through the roof. It's going to happen. Trust me. Hey, Dan the Man. And so although it will be preseason, but I will be at the Bills preseason game against Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. Go Bills. I love going to a good preseason game, man. This year, I'm not going to any preseason games. As of now, the only thing on the calendar is week 1 in New Jersey at MetLife for Bills Jets. So we shall see. Brandon Day is saying that, did you see that Beasley is working out with Gabe Milano? Do you see the Bills bringing him back for a tryout? Brandon Day, great question. From my understanding, he has a workout with a team. He has not not announced what it was. I think a couple of people asked if it was the Buffalo Bills, and he denied it. So we'll find out here within a couple of days. Me personally, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him into training camp, right? I think he would be a very good veteran sort of leadership for some of the younger guys like Shakir, Shorter, etc. Not entirely sure that we would bring him back for the 53, but I mean, listen, I love Cole Beasley. I think that he did wonders for Josh Allen's development, right? And I wish him nothing but the best. I personally would love to see the guy. My buddy Richie's calling me right now, but he's going to have to wait. Rich man. I can't wait to see how Torrance looks. Me too. There's definitely a lot of these younger players and free agents that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on, right? I want to see what McGovern does. We paid him $27 million for 3 years. So I want to see a lot out of him in preseason so I can justify it and not have to wait until the regular season. But we shall see. Matthew C is saying Dotson 100%. It's his job to lose middle linebacker. Elam for number 2 CB. Shakir for a spot to get more passes. But I mean, The other ones to me are more up in the air, maybe O-line stuff, et cetera, et cetera. Nope. Nody stopped last season. Look at that. Listen, man, that's exactly why I try embedding it into your brains that I am live at these specific times, right? So 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Just know Monday through Friday, that's where your boy is. And last night, I was actually putting in a lot of thought into my content schedule for this upcoming season. I really don't think that there's going to be many days off, right? Like, there's not going to be many days off during the season. These two shows that I've had through the offseason, these are going to continue, but I'm going to be adding more. Like definitely pregame shows, like some of the pre-recorded videos I'll do as well. But definitely a lot more live streams. I just have to figure out specific topics and everything. Matthew C says, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't get notifications. Love that. Let me hit up Richie. He called me like 3 times. Let's see. My buddy's a Dallas Cowboys fan, and like he loves trolling me. And he says, for sure. And so I'll help you out. And also do me a favor and put the trash can out. It's a Josh Allen day. Are you kidding me, Ryan? Oh, man. I love it. I love it. Mark. And so it will be interesting in hearing the article as to whose roster spots are in jeopardy. There's 5 names. 2 of them, I'm like I would be absolutely shocked. Like, they would have to like completely lay an egg to see what's going on. Andy Johnson, what's up, man? Hey, Mr. Mitchell, how you doing? King Dante says, hi, Dr. Mitchell. No. Oh, man. I remember yesterday during my my 5 o'clock stream, I was having a lot of Dolphins fans coming in and doing it up. But King Jamie the Mad, I'm here, bro. Just got service in the desert. My man, listen, bro, were you working out of another YouTube name yesterday, like during my happy hour? It's good to see you. Not enough likes. Let's do this. Let's make it work. Love that. His QB is Dak Prescott. Pats gang, what's going on? Please hit that like button, King Jamie. Okay, anyway, let's get to the main substance of this article. 48 people in this live chat right now watching. Good morning. Thank you for joining me. Do me a favor, hit that like button. 54 now. Wow, look at that. 54. All right. Like I said, gents. Okay, so I found this article. It's from Fansided Buffalo Down. A gentleman by the name of Brandon Ray wrote this article. So shout out to him for making my job very easy of essentially just reacting to what the mainstream media is particularly talking about, what they believe the players are that are going to be in jeopardy. So first player they had was Tim Settle, defensive tackle, right? Me personally, like, don't get me wrong, I love the Poona Ford signing, Daquan Jones, obviously, Ed Oliver, but I feel like that depth is going to be very, very much focused on the trenches. So I couldn't necessarily see his spot being in jeopardy. I mean, definitely maybe like a starting position, but his roster spot in general being in jeopardy kind of gets that to me. But last year, Settle was a rotation piece, 19 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, did his thing. And then this is their reasoning right here. They say that the Bills just gave Ed Oliver an extension this offseason. They will have Daquan Jones coming back, who made his presence felt, and Poona Ford was signed to a 1-year deal. Jordan Phillips also returned to Buffalo on a 1-year deal, but Settle has an advantage when it comes to availability. Phillips only dressed 12 games, while Settle dressed for 15. Settle is playing on a contract year this year, so he will be looking to make a strong case to be on the Bills this season to get him paid for next season. It's interesting. I mean, honestly, when it comes down into Jordan Phillips, for me, love the guy. I particularly loved him during his stint over in Buffalo, right before we traded him over to Arizona, and obviously before he came back. But I mean, dude has been having a lot of injury issues ever since he ended up going over to Arizona. And so Arizona has been known to having some of the worst training facilities, worst training staff. When that report came out from the NFLPA not too long ago, when they were just talking about ranking certain organizations as far as facilities, coaches, training staff, etc. I feel like I'd rather settle over Jordan Phillips, but who knows? I mean, maybe we're a 5 DT sort of team. Not particularly sure. What do you guys feel about the whole Tim Settle situation? Sound off in the comments. Larry Nips Live. What is that show about, my friend? I love it. Smash it twice for the boys. Once on main, once on all. Go Bills and Bills Media. Garrett, dude, I love it. I absolutely love it. Mike Green. Exactly. I don't see Settle going anywhere. He is a depth player. Best ability is availability. He has said that. He dressed for 15 games overall, and I thought that he did pretty solid. Do I see him being like our go-to? Nope. I definitely still see it being Daquan Jones. I see it being I see us seeing a lot of Ed Oliver, Daquan Jones. I see us seeing a lot of Poona Ford. I think Settle is going to fit in just completely fine. DF Forever says, Dan, do a 1 vote for yes. Do a 1 vote for yes if it's in jeopardy and a 2 vote for no if he stays. Look at that. Beautiful. DF Forever teaching me efficiency. I love it. All right. Tim Settle. Put a 1 if he stays and a 2. A 1 if his job's in jeopardy and a 2 if he has an issue, right? And so put a 2 if he stays on this team. 1 in the chat if Settle's job is in jeopardy, and 2 if he stays. Me, I'm thinking he stays. Go off, everybody. Oh, okay. DF Forever saying 2. Dante is saying 2. Light it up, guys. Let me know. Let me know. So that's the first one that fan-sided came in. Kair Elam. Okay. I'm thinking this article probably has to do with starting positions, but it looks like everybody is going in with 2. Buffalo Dave Operator is saying when Phillips is healthy, he is a game changer, no doubt. So Buffalo Dave is thinking that his job is completely in jeopardy. Finally can listen live. Larry, what's going on, man? Hope all is well. Hope all is well. Okay. So the second with Kair Elam, I'm not even going to read what they had to say on this. I mean, he's making this team. There's no question about that. We drafted him last year. I thought that he's done incredible, especially against some very top tier receivers. I thought that he matched up very, very well against Tyreek Hill every single time that he was against him, and Jalen Waddle. Solid man coverage, right? I really want him to adapt to the zone coverage that McDermott and the Buffalo Bills like to run. Hence why I think he wasn't the solidified starter last year, because Benford was a bit better in that overall category. Starting job maybe in jeopardy, 110%, but he's making this roster. So I think when it comes down to it, Kair Elam, sound off in the chat. 1, his job is in jeopardy, or 2, he's going to be our starting CB2. Me personally, I love Kair Elam, man, but I just have a feeling that it's going to be very similar to last year. I feel like we're going to use him in situational purposes, and I think that Benford's going to be the guy as long as he stays healthy. So we have DF Forever thinking that he's going to be the starter. I'm thinking that Benford's going to be the starter. And so to be honest with you, I think that that's just how it is. Vegas K is thinking that he's going to be the starter. It's Kair Elam. Buffalo Snowy's thinking too. And then Mark came in. Yep. And so Mark's coming in and saying no chance he's going to be a number 2 starter. Here's the thing with him, man. If he can say for example, that Kair Elam, right? Say that dude can really take strides, really make strides in the overall zone coverage game, then yes, I see him being the starter. But number 1, I think he's going to be back up to Benford. That's me. Still several snaps, don't get me wrong. And say, for example, that we're going up against some very speedy and physical receivers, we're definitely going to see a lot of Elam. But I think overall, I think Benford's going to be that CB2. Maybe Dane Jackson, but my guess is Benford. So DF Forever is thinking that Elam's going to win it over. Love that. Dig J, so you're saying Bean missed another first-round pick? Not necessarily. I think that when we drafted him, I think B knew that he was going to be a project. He certainly understood that his strengths weren't necessarily aligned with our overall defensive scheme. I think he rolled the dice, and he's hoping that he can really add to his arsenal of ability and be an efficient zone corner as well and do both. I don't think he missed on him yet. I think B knew that he was going to be a project when he drafted him. Hopefully by next year, I could definitely see him taking over the spot, but he still has a lot to learn, in my opinion. And so I think they'll be switching up Benford and Elam depending on the teams that are playing that week and what kind of coverage they're trying to run. Exactly like how they did last year, man. Exactly like how they did last year. Matthew C., but Benford might get moved to safety because he seems decent in safety as well. And so the DB coach has said that Benford has all of the physical traits, the talents to be able to make a transition over to safety. Not entirely out of the question. I'm not sure if you guys remember Aaron Williams on the Buffalo Bills a couple of years ago. He started off as a CB, and then he ended up moving over to safety. He was definitely a CB in college, and then he became a safety. So it can be done. It just depends on the tools and the assets that you have. Dana's a good tackler. That's his one upside. And you know what? The Buffalo Bills need good tacklers out there, ladies and gents. We 1,000% can. King Dante. And so I'm just a little way too salty from David Jackson or so with Dane Jackson, I'm assuming, because he got cooked so much. So I think we will be the number 3 and go from there. Interesting. King Jamie is rolling in saying, I don't think I have the right to say who should be the Bills starters. I'm just here for the news and fun. If I got to pick, you guys wouldn't like it because I am a Chiefs fan and I won't be right. I won't be right. Yep. After this year, I have bets Hyde is gone and Benford moves to safety. I think that could happen. I think that's a cheap way of making it happen. Hey, whatever happened to your podcast with Aaron Williams? Are you still doing that? Me and Aaron only had a 1-year deal with that. And then we decided that we just sort of wanted to focus on like individual stuff. And so Aaron's a great guy. We still talk every now and again. Last time I was in Texas, I hit him up to see if he wanted to hang out. I think he was out of town. Really cool guy. Really, really cool guy. And then when he's up in Buffalo and I'm up in Buffalo, I always try to meet up with him. Really cool guy. Dane may be gone before the season starts. Dane Jackson. Wow. Interesting, Mike. Interesting. That's a hot take. Possible. Let's make it happen. Okay. Anyway, we've been talking about Kair Elam. Let's go ahead and knock this out. And then I do want to get a couple of callers in. I probably can't get everybody in today for calls, guys. But Bills Mafia happy hour. I could definitely do my best to get everybody in. Terrell Dodson. Okay. This is interesting. And so I think he's going to make the team. I think linebacker, we need as much depth as humanly possible. Dodson is not the typical Sean McDermott type of linebacker that goes into his scheme. McDermott likes to have his linebackers be versatile and be able to cover receivers and tight ends. Dodson is more of a thumper who can stuff the run. While this kind of style would be great to have on third down conversions, versatility is what matters the most to McDermott's defense. Dodson racked up 32 tackles, 1 sack in 2022, and was available for all 16 regular season games. With the massive hole that is the Bills' biggest question going into the 2023 season, Dodson has the chance to earn more field time, but he will have to battle it out with A.J. Klein, who is very familiar with McDermott's scheme. He also provides more versatility as a defender. The Bills also drafted Dory Williams in the 3rd round this year out of Tulane, who again can cover weapons in the middle of the field. Dodson might have an uphill battle to earn a starting spot or even a spot on the team. These guys are suggesting that Dodson might not even make the team. And it's funny because I think a lot of us have really been pinning A.J. Klein as a cut. These guys are suggesting otherwise, right? Because A.J. Klein is familiar with the scheme. He's better in coverage than Dodson. That's what Sean McDermott likes. So maybe Dodson, right? Like maybe Dodson's job is in jeopardy. So let's put a 1 in the chat if you think Dodson's job is in jeopardy, or 2 if he'll make the team. That made me a believer. We have King Dante coming in thinking that Terrell Dodson's job is in jeopardy. I mean, it is true, but I could think of from a situational stance, I think it could be it. I feel like that you need to at least have certain players complement the weaknesses of the others in the room. So I could see that happening, but still absolutely wild. Snowy is thinking that it's in jeopardy. 2 is thinking it is not in jeopardy. or he'll be a backup. One, his job is in jeopardy. Keefe. Okay, we're pretty interesting. Mark, Dan, and so Dodson has experience, but as stated, he is not a pass coverage linebacker. I see him as a possible cut and will be in competition with A.J. Klein for a roster spot. McDermott loves A.J. Klein, right? McDermott loves. We do have a mixed bag, DF Forever. We have a massive, he's definitely a liability in pass defense. I mean, maybe use him for short yardage situations, goal line, when you think that they're almost 1,000% going to run. But okay, it's a mixed bag. It's definitely a mixed bag. Okay, let's go ahead and switch this up. Naim Hines. This one makes sense to me. Okay, yeah, let's see their reasoning here. When looking back at the Bills' running back room, Hines necessarily doesn't need to be the main ball carrier for the offense. Traded to the Bills in the middle of the season last year, Hines was brought in to bring a new spark to the offense by being a pass catcher in the backfield. Instead, he was utilized more as a kick returner, which he exceeds expectations. By the way, guys, listen, we're not going to be seeing a lot of kick returns this year. So has his value went down? Because I'm pretty sure we ended up signing the guy before that rule ended up being released. So I wonder if that's how it works. But let's continue. With who the Bills brought in at running back, Damian Harris and Latavius Murray to go with James Cook, who I am very high about. Y'all know that. Hines possibly won't see much time on offense. As far as special teams, Hines could be in danger of losing his spot to return kicks with the signing of Deontay Hardy, who could easily step into that role. When healthy, Hardy is a speedster who can fly by defenders. If Harris provides competition for Hines on special teams, Hines may end up not making the final 53-man roster in general, at least not even securing a spot. I feel like the writing's on the wall, y'all. I feel like the writing's on the wall in that situation, right? Like you bring in Hardy, who has the ability to kick return. And I mean, honestly, how many kick returns are there realistically going to be with that new rule? I can guarantee you that we are going to see like a genuine kick return. The ones that we witness all year through the league, we're going to see at least a 30% drop off, in overall true kick returns. I think I believe it. Me personally, I'm going to go with a 1 on this. I could see Hines being like his job being in jeopardy. I really can, because I think about his benefits of what he can bring to the team, right? Like he's a pass catching back, right? We have James Cook. He's a kick returner. We just ended up signing Hardy, who we may not even really utilize a lot. I'm saying 1. And so Kay is thinking more of a 30% drop. So he's thinking like 50 to 60. I definitely think that Naim Hines is a 1 at this point for me. 1 meaning his job is in jeopardy. 2 meaning that he'll make the roster in general. I'm thinking 1, man. I really think that he's going to be a cut on this team. It might not be until after the 3rd preseason game or right before him, but I'm thinking it. Looks like this is almost unanimous. So DF Forever says, I'm going to say 2 because I look at this rule change differently. Very excited to hear your thoughts on that. Very excited. 3, unsure. Buffalo Snowy's coming in saying I'm unsure. And so Dick J is saying, I don't want Hardy as my punt or kick returner. We definitely want to keep him as healthy as possible. This is a tough one, but 1, I think it might be it. And so I see it as a 1, but a trade potential candidate. Absolutely. And so say, for example, y'all are just getting in right now. We're going through some of the names of players that we think their job is going to be in jeopardy over training camp. This one right here is Naim Hines. And it seems like that the vast majority is thinking that this guy, that this dude, his job is about to be in jeopardy with all the writing on the wall, right between the Hardy signing, right between the kick return rule, right between the fact that him being a threat right in the pass game as a running back, him not like truly being like a running back. I think the writing's on the wall at this point. And so anyone new that hasn't participated in the live chat, please go on ahead and do so. Let me know your feedback on what you think we're going to do with Hines. Seems like we're pretty unanimous at this point. So if you're new and you haven't participated in the live chat, go on ahead. Let us know your thoughts. love to hear what you have to say. And so I don't know if we are going to use Hardy as a kick returner. He has catch issues in that regard. Hines not at fault if they don't implement him into the offense more. Dude made 2 back-to-back big plays. He definitely did. He definitely did. And, I mean, I'm not going to forget and look down on that fact. I mean, personally, though, like, and so I look at this roster, and one thing I can say is that I just think that, and so I'd much rather have Damian Harris than Hines. I'd much rather have Latavius Murray than Hines. And I'd much rather have Reggie Gilliam over Hines. It's not a talent issue. It's not a talent issue. Like, Hines is very talented. But I'm asking myself, like, who's going to bring more value, right? And so I think it's going to be Damian Harris, Latavius Murray, and Reggie Gilliam for a variety of different reasons. Dude, I'm thinking Naim Hines might be a trade candidate. And so he's a weapon for Josh. They need to freaking use him. Oh, trust me, man. Trust me, bro. I was so frustrated last year when we did not use Hines in his biggest strength last year at all. It was wildly frustrating. It was wildly frustrating, which is crazy. I'm saying 1, but I don't know if the team makes that move unless they can get some trade offers on him. See, when it comes to an overall trade, man, say, for example, that I'm an NFL GM and I look at your roster and I say, dude, like they're, and so they're 1,000% going to release this guy. And so they are going to release this guy. Me, if I'm an NFL GM, dude, I'm waiting for them to release him and then just start fresh with a new contract. I feel like most other NFL teams are going to see that and they're going to be like, okay, yeah, looks like the Bills have like all of their ducks in a row. And why would we trade for this guy when they're going to release him and we could just start fresh with a new contract? I definitely think that he would be a wild like weapon on another offense, but I don't know. So if we didn't have Cook, Hines would be a different story. Absolutely. And so I see Gilliam falling under the tight end spot, so they could keep Hines. Yeah, who knows where he's going to fall this year, right? And so Latavius Murray is a beast right in his own right. Damn it, Dan. He is, man. He's older, but, I mean, he's still putting up 4.7 yards per carry, man. Goal line running back this year, okay? And hopefully we're going to be able to avoid Josh Allen having to do like those like middle-of-the-line sneaks. Let's stop those, right? Let's stop those. We want to make sure our guy stays as healthy as humanly possible. And so the running back room is too big for Hines unless you look at the rule differently than me. Super excited to hear your thought on that. And so if they keep Hardy, he may be more used for a wide receiver and use Hines as a returner. Besides, who can say one of the others doesn't get hurt? I like it. I definitely like it. Anyway, this is what we're about to do. Last but not least, they have AJ Epenesa. I've heard this as a potential option. I mean, me personally, I just don't see it. I mean, I love the fact that he ended up racking up 6.5 sacks. I think he's one of the best. I would say, if anybody, I think Boogie Basham probably should have been on this list over AJ Epenesa. I think that that's my overall thought process. I think that he brings too much to the table. And I also think that the Bills front office and coaching staff remembers. They remember what it was like when Von Miller went down and our defensive end depth really wasn't getting the job done. Okay, so from that perspective, I don't agree with that. Me personally, I think that this is a 2 for me. I think he's going to make this team. I think that that's just sort of how it all plays out for me. So what I'm doing is an easy 2. We have the Trek reviewer coming in and saying 1. Let's go over there and then knock it out. All right, beautiful. So that is it. I am going to let some callers in here in just a moment. I will tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I want to be as open and upfront with you as humanly possible. I need to use the restroom. I need to drain the main vein. So what I'm going to do, my buddy Dante has been asking me to show some Dalton Kincaid highlights. So while I am using the bathroom, I am going to post and show you guys some Dalton Kincaid highlights while I drain the main vein. Ladies and gents, there you go, Dante. Like button for me, buddy. Smash a like button for me while I'm taking a piss, my friend. Love it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's call the Guinness Book of World Records because I think I might have just broke that. And so I might have just broke that. Look at that. So DF Forever says no volume. Yeah, man, most definitely. I'm just not trying to get flagged by YouTube. Like otherwise they'll make it happen. No volume, but that's fine. Kincaid highlights, sugar high. Let's do it up. How about a time limit for the call? And so how about a time limit for the call with Delusional Patriots fan? And so we'll keep it reasonable. Dan, thank you for the overshare. My apologies, Mark. And so I try to be as transparent as humanly possible. Look at that Dalton Kincaid. Dude, I love that guy. Great route runner. My catch. My God. And so I hear no water running. And so my bathroom's downstairs, man. My bathroom is downstairs. All right, Dante, I really hope that gave you your fix of Dalton Kincaid highlights. This is what I want to do. What I want to do is I want to go to this YouTube channel right here. And then I am going to put the StreamYard link in the chat. And then I'm going to do my best to get as many people in here as possible. If not, there's always Bill's Mafia Happy Hour. That's all in, everybody. We got DF Forever rolling in immediately. My friend, what's going on?
Not much. How are you, man? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, man.
All right.
Loud and clear. So you have a theory. That you look at the kick return rule differently than most. What do you mean by that?
Okay. Special teams. There are some teams that are absolutely built to the top for special teams.
Okay.
Bills is one of them. The Raiders have an amazing special team. Tampa's always had an amazing Tampa team. Just naming some teams on top of my head. Cowboys have always had a great special teams build. There are going to be a lot more situations that are going to bring some fantastic returns, and this is what I mean. There's going to be situations like we're down by 2 touchdowns, and the coach is just going to say, go ahead, I don't care if you're 5 yards in the end zone, just bring it. Let's see what happens. We need that match. There's going to be some kickers. We got a lot of kickers out there and we have one of them who cannot consistently kick in the end zone. And sometimes the ball ends up at the 6 or 7 yard line. I could see balls like that returned.
Okay.
And the other thing you got to understand is teams like this are putting their kick returners in a very hard position because now coaches will tell some of these teams, they'll say, hey, look, it's up to you. It's what you see out there. Return it if you think it's good.
Okay.
Now you're asking these returners to make harder decisions, snap judgment calls of whether they return it or not. And it's going to cause fumbles. It's going to cause turnovers.
Okay.
You teams are going to start seeing special teams play a little lazy. Yeah, they nailed it 5 times in a row. Whatever. Let's just jog down there and it'll be done. No, I don't think it's going to be like that. I think when you say 30% of the NFL drop off on returns, I can see a lot of teams that being 50%.
Okay.
I can see with the Bills it being 15-20% drop off, but I can also see a lot of different situations where the coach just looks at him and says, just go for it.
Okay.
Just do it. Just we're down.
So
this could be our juice play. Just do it. And I think that because of that, I think there's not going to be enough information during 3 preseason games to decide whether you want to just have somebody back there to kneel at every game or not. It's going to at least take a half season. And because of that, I think Naim Hines stays.
Interesting. So who's gone in his place then? Latavius Murray or Damian Harris?
That's tough.
Right? Very.
We did keep 3 running backs and a special team running back last year, though.
Yeah.
So
you're thinking of 4 running backs?
Why wouldn't we just do that again this year?
Yeah. And so you're also hoping that Reggie Gilliam is listed as a tight end as well, not as a running back this year?
I think that'll be the case.
Interesting. Very interesting. Well, hey, man, listen, I definitely appreciate that. Love the fact that you're thinking of the whole fact, like, hey, you know what? I think that this kick return rule might be a little different, and football teams are going to want to go on ahead and go out there and try and catch a team sleeping. Because
I think this is the only reason I wanted to come on, but I think it's just too soon for coaches just to mentally say, no, we're never going to return a ball.
I love it.
You know what I mean? Or no, we're just going to kneel it 50-60% of the time. They're going to still want their man who, if they had a man that excelled as much as it did last year, they're going to still want him there, I think, this year. I think next year, I think if we were a year into the rule, I think that would be a different story. But because we're not a year into the rule yet, and because this is still a feel-out stage, I mean, and, Buffalo motivated brings up a good point. That could be too. We have a special teams unit.
Yeah.
That is extremely good at blocking. That first run back Hines had, everything was just blocked downfield like gold. The second one, Hines made a lot of moves, right?
Yeah.
So I'm with Buffalo motivated on this. I don't think it's going to be quite normal. I think there's going to be also times where we're 2 touchdowns ahead and and the coaches are just going to say, we got this game under control. Do not dare return that ball. We got this. The game's under control. Don't give them a reason to get the ball back real quick, or don't give them a reason to be rah, rah, rah. We stopped them at the 10 freaking yard line. There's going to be that too. You know what I mean?
I love it.
And that's what makes the special teams rule interesting. And watch out for the fumbles. But on that note, I'm going to hang up the call and I'm going to listen to your response on it.
Hey, man, listen, DF, I appreciate that. Great take. Great take. Something to consider there, ladies and gents. Like that kickoff rule, I think that it is sort of hard for us to assume that all teams are going to completely give up practicing that as well, because I think just based off of probability, there's going to be teams that aren't going to take it seriously. And we could potentially see a lot of highlight reel plays this year where one special teams unit is sleeping because they just assume that, hey, like our kicker just went on ahead, booted it right to like the 3rd or the 4th yard line. They're 1,000% going to take the fair catch. So something to consider, ladies and gents. We got King Dante. What's up, buddy?
Yo.
Hey, are you happy that I showed you the Dalton Kincaid?
Oh, heck yeah.
My dude. What are your thoughts, man? What are you thinking today about the Buffalo Bills?
I feel like we just need to run a little more tight end attack because, like, in the Super Bowl, all you saw was Kelsey back at the end zone touchdowns and Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney wide open. So I feel like we could run some of that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm very interested to see what we do with Dalton Kincaid, right? I always try to tell people to look at him as a receiver because that's basically what he is. Like, had some of the best hands in the draft, great route runner. I think he's probably going to be the only rookie, if I could bet on any rookie starting week 1 and being a contributor and being an actual staple of an offensive game plan week 1, it's going to be him because Josh Allen has needed a slot option like Kansas City uses Kelsey more than anything on the face of the planet. Because really outside of Diggs, I mean, Gabe Davis might flourish a bit now that he's not going to be called upon to be Josh Allen's go-to second target. But I 1,000% agree with you. 1,000% agree with you.
I mean, I also kind of want to see more of like Shakir because like I feel like Shakir could also have a really big breakout year.
It's you, Shakir guy. Interesting. I think it's going to be him and Hardy. Like that's half the reason why I like watching preseason because I want to see like what some of these depth guys do so I can go ahead and roll the dice. But I feel like a lot of people are nervous about our weapons this year, man. I am not at all. Once we got Dalton Kincaid, I feel like that it completely has helped me sleep at night because I feel fine with our run game. I feel fine with our receivers. I feel fine with Dalton Kincaid. And like, ladies and gents, don't think that Dawson Knox is going to be completely thrown out of this offensive game plan as far as his pass catching capabilities. There might be a couple of 2 tight end sets out there where everyone is thinking that the ball is going to Dalton Kincaid, but then Dawson Knox might come out as well. There's so many creative things we can do this year, and I'm absolutely pumped about it.
Yeah. I also kind of want to see Justin Shorter because like he's ripped.
Tall dude, vertical threat. He came out of Florida. His quarterback was Anthony Richardson. I mean, he was more so known as like a threat with his legs. So I wonder what he can do with a quarterback like Josh Allen. I'm pretty sure Shorter's a shoe-in to make the roster. He'll probably be wide receiver number 6. There's a couple of people that may take his job, but we're not gonna see. Where are you from, bro?
I'm from Buffalo. I'm in Buffalo, so.
Oh, nice. Nice, man. Me too. I was born there. I lived in Hamburg for a little bit, and then I moved to South Carolina when I was a kid. Are you going to any games this year or no?
I'm going to a preseason, but like honestly, I just like chilling home and watching it. Like it gets because like it just gets so like loud, and then it just gives you a headache after. So.
I mean, honestly, Dante, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like I feel the exact same way. Like I like going to games, don't get me wrong. I love tailgating, but there's been so many times where I've had tickets to a Bills game and like I tailgated and then I just ended up selling my ticket and I went to like a restaurant to watch the game because I catch myself watching the game from the scoreboard even when I'm in the stadium. I entirely agree with you. I love the replays. I love into the commentary, so I definitely get it. But yo, man, listen, I really appreciate you coming on, man. I always see you up in the live chat. Definitely appreciate you, and hopefully you'll hop in right there in Bill's Mafia Happy Hour.
I will.
All right, big dog. Have a good one.
Peace.
It's a kid knows ball, man. Kid knows ball. I'm impressed. Man. I really am. Mark, what's going on, bro?
Hey, Dan. I'm glad you had some of the other callers pop on in, and I'll make mine short because I know you have other people to talk to and limited time to deal with. Okay, first of all, going down the list, Settle. Settle's not going anywhere. His contract's too high. It's not tradable for his level of performance. He's also in supposedly fantastic shape if you believe the reports. And also, let's factor in Jordan Phillips had the shoulder surgery in the offseason. He's going on in-season PUP. They're going to stay with 10 defensive linemen, and that's the way they're going to do it. And they'll go ahead and they'll put Anku and and Kingsley Jonathan on practice squad, and possibly Klein. Okay. Secondly, Elam, starting number 2 cornerback, no question, no doubt. That's just trash in the article. I have no idea what he's talking about. Because I think Benford's going to be a safety, and I also think Alex Austin's going to make the final roster. Okay, number 3. Who's number 3? I'm trying to remember now.
Number 3. Let me pull back up the article real fast if anyone can remember. We had AJ Epenesa as number 1.
Dodson. Excuse me. I think Dodson could very easily be cut and moved to practice squad. Again, it's like what McDermott wants. McDermott wants linebackers who can cover. I'm sorry, Terrell Dodson can't cover.
No,
it's just not in his scheme. I think Klein makes the team because I think Klein and Dodson are competing for one spot. Klein will probably make the team. Dodson goes to practice squad, probably get poached. End of that. Hines. Okay, your DFI. Great commentary. The thing was that Buffalo's still going to execute a kick return game. The change in the rules affect how many people you have to have on your special teams as gunners and players that are playing special teams. That's where the impact's going to be. Hines is going to be the fourth running back on this football team, and they're going to carry 5 because the critical element here is the positional flexibility that they have with the fullback. They can go and carry 4 running backs plus the fullback, and they can practice squad Quentin Morris, which is what I think is going to happen. So the only way that they're going to move Hines, and remember, Hines has, again, a salary that has to be dealt with, and they're not going to cut him.
Yep.
So if they do anything, it's a trade possibility, and maybe it's a very late training camp possibility if that's the way they decide to go with the roster. I believe the fourth person or the next person on the list is Epenesa. I'm sorry, Epenesa's on his contract year, but the bottom line is 6.5 sacks and 37% of the snaps. Solid player, got size. He's continuing to develop. It's somebody that they're having to look seriously next year at getting an extension onto his contract. There's no way he's going anyplace.
Yeah.
So now Basham's a whole different story, and he didn't bring up Basham as you mentioned as you're going through the commentary.
Yeah.
That Basham's had 2.5 sacks. The one thing he offers some positional flexibility because he can play inside. How effectively, that's an unknown, and he'll be on the roster initially unless they want to keep Kingsley Jonathan and move off of Basham because Lawson's much better at setting the edge and therefore has value against the run. And if you notice last year when Vaughn went out, who started? Lawson over anybody else. So I appreciate the article and I appreciate the feedback. You're welcome to go ahead and provide any feedback or anybody, but you have other people to get on, and I will talk to you on the later shift because I want to hear what other people have to say.
Yeah, Mark. Honestly, man, I definitely appreciate your feedback always. Man, we'll see you over at Bill's Mafia Happy Hour. Thank you for tuning in.
All right. See you this afternoon. Okay, bye.
See ya. All right, so we had 2 callers already think that Hines has solidified his positional battle, and then looks like Dotson's off the team, according to Mark as well. It makes sense. It really does. I know that McDermott's going to want to really treat this defense, treat his roster, treat his units with as much tender loving care as possible, since he is now exclusively responsible for play calling. So might as well go on ahead, right? Might as well go on ahead and make sure that you are crafted to what your strengths are, how you envision this defense. So I could certainly see Dotson come on. Guys, we are approaching the hour mark as of right now. For anybody else in the chat, I will give you first priority for the Bills Mafia happy hour call-in. So once you see the link for the next one, I will definitely hook you up there. Love the feedback. Definitely learned a lot. Definitely make sure you smash that like button on your way out. I always appreciate you guys joining me. Like I said, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. EST. We're sitting here talking football. We're talking Buffalo Bills. Love it. And then I will see you later at 5 p.m. EST for Bills Mafia Happy Hour. Topic is still up in the air. I promise it will be somewhat entertaining. Love y'all. See you later. Deuces.